Hello again, guys. Here we are. Here is the feature from the Aero League races, round 7, season 10. I think it is. Obviously, we're at Laguna Seca. This is a reverse grid going off the sprint race results. So we've got Matteo lining up on pole. We've got Andy Winters there in second place. Lars is in third. We have Visaris in fourth. Kyle is fifth. Chris is sixth. Gt7 seventh. BX is eighth. Iggy is ninth. Marco 10th. And Viking Dog bringing up the rear in 11th. So without further ado, we shall get into it. And this obviously is a rolling start as always, so we'll get rid of that stuff on the screen there and we shall start the race. Obviously, we need to queue up the klaxons as well. So we're waiting for the lights to go out, we're waiting for the klaxons to sound. Matteo will head the grid up. And there they go, they are off. So Matteo, he heads up the grid in first place. Rolling grid on this one. Andy Winters not quite close enough to go for a move, but it's looking like Visaris trying to go for the move on Lars, maybe trying to go the long way round. He's had a look, hasn't he? Perhaps he's going for the switchback. Lars doing very well to defend Visaris there. Visaris looking quite strong actually in that Genesis, and maybe that Genesis is he's had a bit of a buff perhaps. I think it was a little bit weak, wasn't it, when it first got introduced? Oh no, Matteo, he's gone deep, he's gone off. Matteo into the gravel, so Andy Winters, new race leader, he's up into first place. Lars is in second, Visaris is there in third. Where is Matteo going to rejoin? Kyle is fourth, Chris is fifth, Tiep sixth, and BX going for a move up the inside there. I didn't expect that, BX. You are a brave man. That was a very brave move there by BX. If he'd have misjudged that by a tiny bit, he would have been off into the kitty litter, but he did really well there, so fair play BX, up to sixth place. Tiep's dropping to 7th now, Iggy is there in 8th, Marco 9th, Viking Dog is 10th, and Matteo, that's unlucky mate, all the way down in 11th place now. Come on mate, this is the feature, this is an endurance race, so you should be able to maybe have a better strategy than everyone else and come back strong towards the latter half of the race. Meanwhile, Andy Winters still in first place. We saw his tyres die quite quickly in the sprint race, so tyre deg is going to be a feature in this feature race. Visaris there in third place, and then we've got three wide into turn one. It's going to end in tears, surely. How the hell did they get around there? 3 wide. BX moving up to fourth place now. He got a bog off, buy one, get one free. That's a 2 for 1. Kyle still trying to fight it back though. He's in fifth place now. He's moved up to fourth again. BX down to fifth momentarily. Who's going to have this corner? Kyle's got the inside. BX still all over his bumper. He's pushing him along now. As we've got Visaris looking for a move on Lars up ahead as well. And then we've got Iggy. Iggy coming up in the background there as well. He looked like he was going to go down the inside of Chris. Chris just managing to stay ahead. Tieps is down to 8th now. He's got Marco all over the back of him as well. Marco is there, he's trying to find his way past Tieps in that M6. He's making that M6 as wide as he possibly can. Surely Marco's not going to go for a move into the corkscrew. And no, he doesn't. But somebody, no, someone was off. I think it was Chris. I think there may have been, oh no, I think there was contact possibly between Iggy and Chris. So great sportsmanship there from Iggy. That's unfortunate. That has ruined his race, but he did the right thing, didn't he? And he stopped for him. That's just an unfortunate racing incident, unfortunately. I think maybe he went for a move possibly into the corkscrew, I'm not too sure. We didn't quite see it. Maybe we'll try and have a replay towards the end of the race, but Andy Winters, he's on a charge at the moment. He's trying to create a gap now to Lars. He's got a bit of breathing space already. Actually, Lars closing right up under that braking zone. Andy Winters went a bit deep. I think Lars trying to look up the inside. He nearly got that move done, but Andy Winters closing a door on him. So Visaris still in third place, not really under any pressure at the moment from BX, but BX has moved all the way up to fourth place. So he has come from nearly all the way back at the back of the field, all the way up to fourth place by lap 3. Absolutely on a charge at the moment. On the mediums as well, so it'll be interesting to see how long they last. Kyle is in fifth. He had a decent first race, didn't he, the sprint race. He's also on mediums, going for a long stint in this first stint. Tieps is in 6th place, also on mediums. Marco still in 7th, unable to find his way past Tieps at the moment. He's also on mediums. Viking Dog now up to 8th place, so he's managed to get past Chris and Iggy. Actually putting in a purple sector there as well, so maybe on track for a fastest lap. We'll stay on board with him for just a second and see if he does manage to get that. He is also on mediums and looking like he's actually about to pull onto the back of that train. You can see the train up ahead of him now. TF's looking for the move on Kyle. He's going to go up the inside, is he? Kyle holding it around the outside, and he has just managed to edge ahead in that M6. Kyle's going to have the inside for this next turn, no, turn 3. Oh, it was a bit dodgy on the exit, and Marco managing to capitalise. He's moved up to 5th place now. So he was just hugging Kyle's rear there, wasn't he? He managed to make up a place. The Viking Dog up to 7th. BX all the way down in 8th now. What happened to BX? Iggy 10th. Iggy 9th, sorry. Chris 10th and Matteo 11th. So, that's interesting. So BX must have had a moment somewhere. I'm not sure if maybe having a bit of a mistake, or maybe there was contact, I'm not sure. We didn't quite see it, but Visaris, how rapid is Visaris looking at Genesis X at the moment in this first early stint? We're only 5 minutes into this 40-minute sprint race. He's almost onto the back of Andy now, isn't he? He's definitely in that slipstream, not able to close up enough to go for a move just yet, but, or is he? He may be close enough to go for a move into turn 1, and he's going to have to cover that inside off, and he does. But no, Visaris, he feints it to the outside, comes back to the inside. Andy Winter's looking like he's suffering with a bit of understeer at the moment. He manages to hold that first place for the meantime, though. Oh! Almost contact there. There was a tiny bit of contact through that apex there. I don't usually Robbins racing, but that was a little bit... definitely pushed the pass. But he's finally got it done, and he is up into the lead of the race, looking like he may be able to pull out a bit of a gap as well. As I say, I think maybe that move will be under scrutiny from the stewards, and it looked like Andy Winter's maybe trying to... Try not to get frustrated, Andy. Keep your head in the game, mate. Oh, as we hear screeching tyres in the background, somebody definitely had a moment there, didn't they? So Andy Winter's now under pressure from Kyle. Kyle trying to find his way past, but Andy doing really well to defend at the moment. He has gone a little bit deep on the final turn. Kyle has managed to move through to 2nd place. Andy Winter's still trying to fight back there, and we've got Marco there as well. No, they're going to be 3 wide. It's turn 1 again. What are you lads doing? Oh my God! Andy Winter's looking like he's going to come off better out of that, but no, Marco has in fact moved up to 2nd place. So it's all got a bit mental up at the front here. Meanwhile, Visaris, he's going to be grinning, isn't he? Oh no! I think there was a tiny bit of contact there with Marco and Kyle, I think it was, just edging Kyle out a little bit onto that gravel, and that has cost him a few positions. Marco looking like he's a little bit on the back foot now. Is Andy Winter's going to be able to go around the outside? Not that time round. Come on, Marco. We've seen how quick you can be. I don't know if he was maybe trying to possibly hold the field up, try and let Kyle catch back up, but anyway, he's up to 2nd place, and he's looking to try and get onto the back of Visaris, try and get away from the rest of the pack, but Visaris looking strong at the moment. He's already got a few second gap to Marco, who's currently sat in 2nd place with Viking Dog. Viking Dog is now up to 3rd place, so Viking Dog has come all the way from the back of the field, all the way up to 3rd place on lap 6. Also on the mediums, TF's now in 4th place, Kyle down in 5th, and BX is back up to 6th place. So, as I say, don't know what happened to BX, but he had a few moments, didn't he, I think, and dropped a few places, but he's back up to 6th place now putting Kyle under some pressure, looking to try and take that 5th place away. Oh, and it worked! He made Kyle brake late, and he went a bit deep, and managing to get that switchback done. That was a classic move there from BX. That may be overtaken tonight. He's putting in purple sectors as well. He's currently got the fastest lap for 1:22.0. I think the standard was a 1:20, wasn't it, in the sprint race? So Kyle dropping to 6th now. He still looks like he's got pace in that BRZ though. He's looked rapid all night, hasn't he? I think the BRZ is a pretty good car around here. Not a combo that I've driven myself, but Iggy now back up to 7th. Obviously he had that contact early, didn't he, with I think it was Chris, and being a sportsman that he is, he slowed down, let Chris retake the position. He's managed to make his way back through to 7th place now. Andy Winters, that's unlucky, mate. He's down in 8th place now. He was leader of the race, wasn't he, for so long. Doing really well as well. But I think that tyre wear may be getting the better of him. The AMG just doesn't look very comfortable with them fronts. It's just eating him at the moment. Lars is in 9th place. Chris down in 10th now. And has Chris actually pitted already? It looks like Chris is on fairly young, fairly new mediums, so maybe Chris has pitted already, taking on a fresh set of mediums. Or perhaps he has just looked after his tyres that well. Matteo, now some way off the rest of the field. He had that early mistake, didn't he? And seems to have cost him. He's been on the back foot ever since. I thought maybe he may be able to, you know, get his head down and bust out some fast laps, but at the moment, letting the rest of the field get away from him. Vasaris, meanwhile. Vasaris in the lead of the feature race on his debut. At least I believe this is his debut anyway. Don't think we've seen him before, have we? So well done, Vasaris. Absolutely flying at the moment in that Genesis. Although it does look like Marco is starting to catch. Marco's been rapid all night as well, hasn't he, in that Lexus? He is going to have Viking to contend with soon though, and Viking has been a bit of a force to be reckoned with in that Corvette in the last few rounds. Obviously only one more round after this. BX now back up to 4th place. The tyre wear looking quite high though on that Mercedes. Still with the fastest lap of 122.0. Tieps, 5th place. He's been quite strong this evening, hasn't he, in that M6. I do like the M6, it's one of my favourite cars from GT Sport. Also, the model on here doesn't seem to be as fast as it used to be, but also very good. Feel quite connected with the road. Kyle closing up though to TX now, and maybe looking like he could go for a move into turn 1. We'll have to stay on board and see what he can do. The BRZ, not a car that I've spent a lot of time in, so maybe I'll start trying to put some miles on it. And I do believe, from looking at the track map on the top right, that the battle for first place may be starting to heat up. So we'll check in with them guys soon. So Iggy's still trying to fight his way back onto the rest of the pack. I think he's going to have to have a superior strategy. Or just go absolutely balls to the wall. Lars trying to bridge that gap now to Iggy. He's got a little bit of work to do. He's got it cut out for him, but he may be able to do it just yet. Andy Winters down to 8th now, so Lars managing to get past him. Can he get back past Lars? I'm not too sure at this stage with them tyres, but wait and see. Matteo having a bit of a shocker this evening, but he's managed to... Is he made up a place? I think he was down in last, wasn't he? So looking like he's actually made up a place. So Chris has pitted now. He's taken on a fresh set of softs. So that is why he is as far back as he is. But Visaris still in first place, but Marco is starting to now close that gap. They actually look equal on tyre wear. Visaris using a little bit more fuel. So Marco may be able to get the jump done in the pit. Marco actually stealing the fastest lap now for 1:21.9. And you would expect the lap times to start getting a bit faster as they start to burn off some of that fuel. But Visaris still looking cool as a cucumber at the moment. It doesn't look like he's under too much pressure from Marco. I don't think he's quite within that slipstream window, or is it? No, he's just crept in there, hasn't he? He's definitely just crept in there. So Visaris is going to have to do some special defending, I feel. It does look like Marco maybe having the pace advantage. So Visaris doing consistent 122s. Marco also doing 122s, but he's also got the faster lap of 1:21.9. And he has definitely closed again, hasn't he? Got bored with Marco for a minute. Marco, as you can see, really starting to put the pressure on now. He's trying to maintain that speed through the apexes and close up. He seems to be closing up actually through the turns, so maybe carrying a bit more speed than Visaris. Visaris maybe a little bit tentative, trying to save them tyres, not wanting to pit too early. Doing a great job at the moment though of keeping Marco behind him. That was a cracking gap that he'd managed to pull out, wasn't it? But as I keep mentioning, we've seen how rapid Marco can be, and it looks like he's on form tonight. Definitely bringing his A game. Bit of a shaky round for him last week. And that Genesis looking like an absolute weapon down the straights. As Marco closes up through turn one, he closed up under braking there, trail braking through the corner. And again, looking like he's got the pace advantage out of the corners. I think that Genesis definitely a force to be reckoned with along the straights, but Marco just seemingly having the better run out of the corners. Or the better momentum on the corner exits. Same terminology. Marco definitely looking for a way past now, isn't he? He's trying to set a move up, you can see that. Firmly in the wheel tracks of Visaris. I think that move is going to come soon. He's not going to have a look into the final turn, surely. A little bit tight through there. I think turn one may be where it happens. And he's firmly with him as they come across the start-finish line for the 14, start lap 14. And is he going to go for the move? No, Visaris covering off the inside. He's shut the door. Can Marco get a switch back? Not that time. Is he going to get the run up the inside into turn 3, turn 2? No. This is where he seems to have the momentum though, on the exit of turn 3. And yeah, still unable to find his way past. So we'll have a check-in with the rest of the field. I think these guys will be coming up to their pit window fairly shortly. So BX up to third place now. It looks like he may have to pit soon. Then that tyre wear is looking quite severe on that Mercedes, as is the tyre wear on that Corvette of Viking Dog. Down to fourth place now. Oh, bit of a squirm there on the exit of this corkscrew. He managed to save it though, he's kept it going. Definitely looks like it's getting a bit squirrely out there. So Tieps is now up to 5th place. In fact, I think he's been running in 5th place, hasn't he, for some time. But having a decent outing in that M6. Is he going to be able to keep Iggy behind him though? Iggy now up to 6th place. I did say, didn't I? Iggy just biding his time. Now able to maybe get onto the back of the top 5. Kyle 7th. He's got a bit of a gap now to Iggy, and also a bit of a, well, a nice bit of breathing space back to Lars, who is his team. Oh, he had a bit of a moment there, managing to save it though. And his teammate Lars is there in 8th. Nice little crackle from the exhaust on that BRZ as it came through turn 2. Andy Winters now in 9th. In fact, I think that's where he's been running, isn't it, for the last couple of laps. I think he's going to have to wait. Bide his time as well. Matteo, 10th place. Still not being caught by Chris, who has now been lapped, I think, by Visaris and Marco. Marco is now into the pits. Visaris, his favourite track position, he's stayed out. He has definitely got meat on them tyres, and he's got a couple of laps, maybe 1 or 2 laps left in that tank, but he's going to have to pit very soon. BX, that's a very brave move from BX. I'm not sure if he's got the Ferrari Strategist working for him tonight. But their mediums are shot, aren't they? At least the front right is. Perhaps he feels like, oh no, Chris, a case of Chris getting blue flagged. I thought that was Visaris for a minute. But no, Visaris still firmly in 1st place. He's a few corners ahead. Here is BX. So BX, 2nd place. Still yet to pit. Lars, his favourite track position as well. He's up to 3rd place, but also still yet to pit. So we've got on board with Marco as he exits the pits. He's on a fresh set of softs. He's probably topped that car up as well. So definitely free to start trying to get onto the back of the top 3. In fact, I don't think he's got to worry too much, because obviously they are still yet to pit. I think they're the only guys that haven't pitted yet. So Viking Dog 5th place, also out of fresh softs. Matteo actually in the middle of the pack now, but he's also yet to pit. 6th place currently. Tieps out on fresh softs. 7th place. Iggy is in 8th on fresh softs. Kyle is in 9th on fresh softs. Andy Winter will be taking on a set of fresh softs, 10th place. Chris is 11th. Visaris is now in the pits, and BX are now in the pits. So who is going to go through? I think Lars will be heading to the pits as well, and he does. So will Marco manage to come through and take the lead of the race once more? Or will Visaris come out ahead of him? And I think he has. He's definitely moved up to 1st place momentarily. Is Visaris coming out of the pits though? Viking Dog moving through to 2nd. So Visaris has now filled that car up. Where will he come out? He's still not out, so Marco firmly in 1st place at the moment. Visaris still yet to leave the pits. Viking Dog's going to get through as well. He's in 2nd place. So Visaris emerges in 3rd place with BX firmly on his tail in 4th. Lars, we just saw, dove into the pits there. So Tieps is in 5th place with Iggy not far behind him in 6th. Kyle 7th. Lars coming out of the pits now. Andy Winters is 9th. Matteo exiting the pits. He's 10th. Chris is 11th. So Marco looking like he's done enough at the moment. He's created a nice gap to the rest of the field now. So I'm not sure, maybe Visaris maybe overfilling that car slightly. Maybe not wanting to, we did see it did drink quite a lot of fuel, didn't it? So maybe it's quite a thirsty car, that Genesis. Not too sure what's under the hood. Viking Dog. He's some way back now from Marco. Currently in second place. Looking like Marco. He's not got to worry, has he, at the moment? Viking Dog's going to be having to put in them qualifying laps to be able to catch him at the moment. And then we've got BX Royale and Visaris. BX looking for a move now on Visaris. What can Visaris do? He was so rapid, wasn't he, in the first stint? But now he has firmly got BX all over his bumper. BX looking to try and take that podium away from him. So the undercut looking like it's very strong around here, around Laguna Seca. And Visaris still looking very strong, but BX is, yeah, he's definitely putting the pressure on, isn't he? I think he's conscious of TEP's behind him as well, but he's looking to try and get the move done early, carrying the momentum out of the final turn. I think he's going to get past as they come across the start-finish. He's definitely passed now, isn't he? As they come into turn one. So BX now up to third place. Will them tyres hold on for him though? We've seen they do seem to die quite quickly on the Mercedes. Both variations of Mercedes suffering with very high tyre wear on the fronts. So Visaris, at the moment, that podium looking like it's just fallen through his clutches. As Iggy looks for a move on TEP's up the inside. Not quite close enough to go for the move that time around, I don't feel. How awesome did that BRZ sound then? Fantastic sounding car. Iggy looking the long way round into the corkscrew. Surely he's not going to try and go for a move there. He has! He's managed to get it done! What a move from Iggy! Oh my god, that was... What even was that? That was just... yeah. Not really a lot TEPs could do about that. He was just a sitting duck. Iggy messing with the time-space continuum once again. TEP's now down to 6th. Kyle in that awesome sounding BRZ. What can he do now? Can he get onto the top 6? Maybe start trying to shake things up a bit. Lars now in 8th. Andy Winters 9th. Matteo 10th. Chris still 11th. Marco still with a huge gap now to the rest of the field. BX Royal with the fastest lap currently of 1:20.7, but as Marco came through that last split, he was purple, so maybe able to steal the fastest lap. That'll be an extra point on the board. And as he comes up to the start finish, he goes faster with a 1:20.680. Viking Dog still got a little bit of work to do, hasn't he, to get onto the back of Marco. 28 minutes in now, so 12 minutes left, 11.5 minutes left of this race. The Viking Dog having a great run at the moment. I'm not sure he's going to be able to challenge for that win, but you never know. Maybe Marco will have a mistake somewhere, but he's looking on fire tonight, isn't he? Definitely look like he's brought that A game. BX still firmly in third place. He's got a nice bit of breathing space now to Visaris. Don't think he's going to be towing him along too much, although he did just have a moment there. That may bring Visaris back into it if he can get in that slipstream range. But he has also got to worry about the Time Lord behind him in 5th place. In fact, looking like BX had a better run out of the corkscrew there, so he's managed to extend that gap again somewhat. And Visaris now looking like he's going to have to start defending against Iggy. Look how close Iggy is now, running in the wheel tracks. And he does close right up through the braking zone, through the apex, kicking up some dust into Tiep's face behind him. Have some of that, Tieps. I'd be more concerned about Visaris throwing some dust up into Iggy's hot tub. That thing could act like a bucket and just start filling up with sand. Not too sure the aerodynamics would work on that either, to be fair. Be a little bit... Obviously, it's a VGT though, isn't it? So, you know, you allow it. Saying that, F1 cars are open top, aren't they? So, could be the same principle. Tieps in that gorgeous M6. Not one of the most striking liveries, in my opinion. It is still a good one, don't get me wrong, Tieps, it's a good livery, it's just not one of the most striking. It doesn't stand out quite as much as some of the others, but still a good livery. This one though, of Kyle's BRZ, as I say, I think that's the winner for me this season. If there was a livery competition, in fact a team as a whole, I'd like to see both cars side by side so you could see the effect of the reversed colours. Oh, you can kind of see it there. So you see there, Lars has got the white on the right, the black on the left. Kyle obviously having the white on the left and the black on the right. Looks brilliant though. Andy Winter still running in 9th place, unable to catch the rest of the field yet. And we are in the final 8 minutes. I think he may struggle to take them tyres for another 8 minutes, but Matteo actually not struggling too much with tyre wear. I think he's done enough to be able to run them softs to the end. And Chris as well. But yeah, Chris looking like he's not going to be able to make up any positions now, unfortunately. I think he's just trying to bring that car home now. Still points for 11th place. At least I think there's still points for 11th place. But Marco looking like he's done enough now. Look at that gap back to Viking Dog. Viking Dog's never going to catch him now, is he? Not unless Marco has a huge off somewhere and maybe loses a wheel. I think at this point he could probably park up and have a quick cup of coffee and a sandwich and he'd still be safe to carry on. So Viking Dog again. I think that Corvette may be struggling slightly with the tyre wear. If you look at the graphic on the bottom left there, this is Marco, so look at his tyres on the bottom left, and then look at Viking Dog's, definitely way more heavily used. So yeah, I do feel like that has been the weakest part of Viking Dog's race this evening. Oh, so it's a yellow flag. Yellow flag, let's hope that's not Marco up ahead, is it? I'm not too sure. Maybe Marco having a slight moment somewhere. How far ahead? Oh no, I don't think it was. I think there's a back marker between Marco and Viking Dog. Perhaps that's what it was, the back marker trying to get out of the way. So still a huge gap now to Viking Dog. Viking Dog can try all he might, but with only 6 minutes left to go, just under, I think he's going to have to settle for second place. But still, cracking race, Viking Dog. He's had a very strong season this season, as has BX, as has Marco, as has Iggy. As I say, the top four have all pretty much been the top four all season. But BX, he's done enough to get ahead of the pack now. I think he can hold on to that third place comfortably if them tyres last and he doesn't have a moment. Because Iggy is in fourth place, but he is some way back now. Visaris now dropping to fifth. Looking like he's under attack from Tieps behind him as well on that M6. So Visaris, unlucky Visaris, maybe going a little bit too long on the mediums. The undercut seemingly way stronger around Laguna Seca. And just having a bit of a bad late stint, I think. In fact, looking like he was more comfortable on the mediums in his first stint than he is now on the softs, perhaps quite conscious of the tyre wear around here, Laguna Seca. Obviously, as I've said before, the tyre wear is at a premium, with grips at a premium as well, being a partially sandy track. Well, it's surrounded by sand, isn't it? It's in the desert. Tieps doing all he can now to try and get into that top five. He's currently in sixth place, but he's looking like he may be able to get the move done on Visaris in the dying stages of this race. As I say, he's looked quite strong all evening, to be fair, as has Kyle, who's currently in seventh place. He's the fourth car in this sort of midfield train that's formed now from fourth, Iggy, back to Kyle, who's in seventh. And then Lars, not sure what happened to Lars. He must have had an off somewhere, because he is quite a way off the field now, isn't he? And Andy Winters is now come round to lap Chris. So Andy Winters 9th, Chris is 11th, as you saw. Matteo is there in 10th. Marco's still well in control of the race. Still with a huge gap to Viking Dog. He's 2 corners ahead now. BX as well, massive gap between him and Viking and the rest of the field. So I think the battle is now between Iggy, Visaris, Tieps and Kyle. Definitely the closest battle on track at the moment. Iggy's doing really well to stay ahead. He managed to get that move done on Visaris, and he's just kept it there so far. Visaris unable to come back at the moment, but he's doing really well to defend against Tieps, who's looked quite strong on that M6 all night. Visaris having a really strong first stint. Unfortunately, it petered off a little bit in this second stint, but as I say, I think his undoing was running the mediums for 1 lap longer than the other guys, trying to create a bit of a gap, and it just didn't work, unfortunately. And he's finding himself now in the top 5, but down in 5th. No longer controlling the race as Tieps. Tieps actually now have to defend against Kyle. Kyle is going to be looking for that move, isn't he, into turn 1, I'm sure. Is he close enough this time round? And he is. He manages to get his nose up alongside. Is he going to get it through? But Tieps is going to have the inside for this next one. Side by side. Now Kyle's had to back out. He's going to try and go for the switchback. Oh, he nearly loses the rear as he gets on the power. He's going to have the inside for turn 3. He gets it through nicely. That was a great move there from Kyle. Fair play. Setting it up on the previous corner. Again, not really a lot Tieps could do. Tieps, I think, struggling with fuel consumption now as well. In fact, no, I think everybody is. I think everybody now running on fumes. But Kyle is up to 6th place, free to try and start challenging the top 5. Tieps down to 7th. Lars is in 8th. We've got Andy in 9th. Matteo is 10th. Chris 11th. And we will go on board with Marco. In fact, we'll check out... Yeah, because he's not going to come up to finish the lap yet, is he? What sector is he in? I'm trying to work out what sector he's in. I think he's in the first sector, isn't he? Yeah, so that was turn 3. Cut on the approach to turn 4 now. So yeah, we'll check in with everyone else quickly. This will probably be the final lap, I would imagine. So Iggy actually closing up onto the back of BX now. May be able to challenge for that 3rd place. I'm not sure we're going to get to see the move come. So he's managed to get past Visaris now. Visaris down to 5th. Kyle there in 6th. Gt7 7th. We're going to have to go on board with Marco, because I think this is definitely going to be the final lap. It is. So Lars finishes in 8th place. Andy Winters will finish 9th. Matteo will finish 10th. Chris will finish 11th. And here is your race leader. He's going to come through and take the checkered flag. Coming around the final turn for the 29th and final time. There he goes, Marco. Winning another one. Well done, mate. Great racing. Viking Dog. Them tyres on that Corvette, absolutely dead now, isn't it? You wouldn't be able to sell them on Facebook Marketplace. So Viking Dog finishes in 2nd place. Well done, mate. Great racing. BX has managed to hold on to that 3rd place. Iggy's dropped slightly off the back of him now. Maybe having a moment somewhere. He's going to take 3rd. Well done, mate. Iggy and Visaris. Iggy finishes 4th, Visaris 5th. Looked like he may have got a move done at the end there, though. Kyle is 6th, Gt7 7th. And so Gt was 7th. If we could, Lars is 8th, Andy Winters 9th, Matteo 10th, and Chris 11th. If we could get the end of race timer thing, BX, if we could get that extended just a slight bit so I can get the read down through the grid at the end there. But anyway, that was the feature race. That was round 7. I'll be back. I'll try and make it a live one for the 8th and final round of this season, which will be on Monday. So I'll see you there. I've been your boy Vex. Good night.